Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will be building a machine learning model to predict body mass index of a person using linear regression. So basically linear regression is a machine learning algorithm which is used to model the relationship between a dependent variable and one or more independent variables by fitting a straight line through them. There are few assumptions that the linear regression model takes in consideration while training. First is linearity. The relationship between x and y should be linear. Second, independence. The observations should be independent of each other and not dependent on each other. So basically, what happens in linear regression is we fit the regression line through the points, and so what happens in linear regression is that the model tries to fit this line y is equals to b0 plus b1x through the data. Here y is the variable to be predicted, b0 is the intercept, and b1 to bn is the slope. And in case of multiple linear regression, the equations become b0 plus b1 x1 plus bn till bn xn. Taking a simple example, suppose we have this sample data where we are given the shoe size and the price is dependent upon it. We can clearly see the pattern between the two, or the relationship between the two variables. The price is 100 times the shoe size plus 200. Does this equation reminds of something? Exactly the equation we have seen before. Function of x is equals to mx plus b, where m is the coefficient and b is the intercept. And here is the pattern. Okay, so what happens in linear regression is that the model is able to predict this line, the best fit line, as to say, for us, given that is an dependent variable and multiple independent variables. So using this concept, we will now try to implement linear regression in Python. So this is our data. We have a file named bmi.csv which has age, height and weight, and based on this we would predict the BMI, the body mass index. So now let's move ahead. First of all, what I will do is import the two main libraries, import numpy as np and import pandas for data manipulation. Okay. Our first step in making this machine learning model would be loading the data. We'll write df is equals to pd dot read csv, and then I'll copy the path of this file and paste it here. Now let us check if there are any inconsistencies or any null values in our data. Using df dot is null dot sum. Okay, so our data is clean of any null values. or any duplicate values. Okay, so our data is good to go. Next step, what we will do is we will separate the independent and the dependent variable. Here we have x is equals to df age, height and weight. Next we have the dependent variable, which is our BMI, the variable we have to predict. The next step to building a machine learning model is to split the data into train and test set. The training set is from where the model will learn about the data and find the relationship. The test set is used for examining or evaluating on what the data has learned till then. So for this, we will use scikit-learn modules train test split function. So we would import it from sklearn dot model selection import train test split. Now we would split the data xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest. Reduce train test split x y. We would keep the size of the test set as 25% of the whole data, and random state is equals to 42. We would use random state so that every time we run this file again and again, the data would be split in the same way as it will be splitting now, and it won't change, so that our results remain consistent. Next step we would do is we would load the model. From sklearn dot linear model import linear regression, and then we would create a linear regression object. I would name it linreg, and I would just initialize a linear regression object in Python. The next step is to train the model using the xtrain and ytrain, the training data. So I would just write linear regression dot fit, give it xtrain, the ytrain, and that's it. My model, linear regression model, is trained. Thus, just like that. In today's time, it is that simple to train a machine learning model. Now, what we will do is make our model predict on the basis of the testing data. So I would name as spread is equals to linreg dot predict, and we would predict on the testing data, which is xtest. So our model has made the predictions. Now the next step in the process is evaluating the model, testing it, basically testing how well it has learned on our given extent data. So for that, we would have to import an evaluating metric on basis of which we would evaluate the performance of the model. So we would use sklearn.metrics import mean absolute percentage error. Okay, and now we will calculate it, mean absolute percentage error. First we would have to give it the real values and then our predictions to see how accurate it was, how much less error it would give every time it makes a prediction, how reliable the predictions are. Okay, so we get a mean absolute percentage error of nearly 3%, which is very good and excellent. So our machine learning model has been able to find the pattern between age, height, and weight to detect the BMI of a person. So that's all for today, guys. Hope you have hope this tutorial have helped you in building your first machine learning model.